Just in case they ain't get the picture the first time around.
I see you, hater. My motivator. Y'all make me greater. Yeah.
Got some more fiberglass doors we're about to do. These here for a 4-door box Chevy. I'm just doing the front 2 doors right now. But what he got 2 6-inch PRVs and 2 super tweeters. Only thing I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna fabricate something up in here. I think I'm gonna bring this down a little bit, then put 1 6-inch here, 1 6-inch here, and the 2 tweeters up in here. But I'm gonna try to leave the original mountain holes. I'm gonna try to leave them there. I think I'm gonna have to move this one here over somewhere up in here, just so I can position the tweeters, because this one here be covering that one up. So I'm gonna have to move it somewhere right here. I'm finna go ahead and get everything set up and try to come up with a plan. What I came up with, I'm making a platform for this bottom. Let me show you. See, this here gonna go right here, but I'm gonna have it coming down a little bit farther than what it originally is. It's gonna come down right about right here. So what I gotta do, I gotta make a platform so I can have something to work with. And that's what I'm doing right now. I need 2 of them, 1 for each door panel. So I'm finna go ahead and cut these out with the jigsaw. Then I'll cut you back on. These are my 2 platforms. See, this is gonna sit on there something like this here, just to bring it out some. Now I gotta go ahead and cut this out so this will sit flush with the bottom of that. I'm also gonna go ahead and drill my screw hole through the back of this so I can know exactly where it's at on both sides. Then in the middle, you know, I'm gonna change that up so it's gonna be somewhere along here. But let me get that done. As you can see, I got my base cut out. I got my 3 holes drilled. As I said before, I changed this hole up and put it right here. But I also cut out around here, so when I make my tube for my screws to go down in, I have enough clearance. So what I gotta do now, I gotta make sure this level, make sure that's level. Then I'm gonna staple, put 2 staples on each side just to hold it in place. I'm just gonna use the air stapler. Let me go ahead and get that done. So I got my 2 staples on each side just to keep it in place. Let me take it over here on the panel, show you what I was talking about. It's gonna be on there something like that. Still gonna have the light down here, just enough so I can put the speakers on it. Let me go ahead and do the other. Go ahead and do this in here, then I'll be ready to move on to the next step. I got both of them with the base on it. Now it's time to go ahead and cut some speaker rings. Got my PRV here. Gonna go ahead and cut the speaker ring out with the router. Shout out to Steve Davis once again for blessing me with this here, this Jasper tool. Y'all go check him out. I'm gonna put the link. It should be flashing up now. Y'all go check them out and subscribe to them. I'm back in the shop. I took everything outside to do the routing because I ain't want all that dust flying everywhere. But I got my speaker ring cut out. The only thing I gotta do is take the jigsaw and cut the tabs off. Let me get the speaker. I'm gonna take my round over bit and round my ends off. I got all 4 rings cut out and rounded over. But I'm gonna go ahead and countersink around the edges, around the round over. So when I staple it, I can staple the fleece. It'll be countersunk, the staples will be countersunk. Then I can just build a fiberglass on up to this here. Be a lot easier. Now I gotta cut some speaker rings for the tweeter. I'm just gonna cut a 4-inch circle and drop the tweeter inside it. 2 of the speaker rings cut out for the tweeter. Just gotta cut 2 more for the other door panel. These here is just tabs. I use that to keep the speaker ring in place so I can cut the undercircle out. I'm gonna go back with the jigsaw and cut them 3 tabs out. Then I take the sander and smooth it down. I got all 8 rings cut out. This is what I was going for. I'm gonna have 1 6-inch here and 1 here and the 2 tweeters at the bottom. But I gotta have room for my mountain holes. I got 3 of them, 1 here, here, and here, so I can't cover them up. But I had already positioned them on my other panel. Let me show you what I went with. I had went on and glued them together, made sure it was level because it's a lot easier leveling all of them at one time than trying to do it separate on the piece. But I got them glued and I got some braces on the back. I just cut out some little scrap pieces of wood and stapled them and glued them with some wood glue. See, can I show you what I was? It's gonna be like that. What I did, I put this up here like that and traced out around the top of the speaker ring on both sides. Because I'm gonna have to cut into this here in order for this to sit level. But I made some legs about 2 inches. Let me show you. I made 2-inch legs. I got some small ones and some of these here. The small one's gonna go up under the tweeter speaker rings and the big one's going up under the 6-inch. But let me go ahead and cut this out and I'll show you more. This is how I got my legs mounted on. I just hot glued it on with a hot glue gun. My 2-inch legs. But it actually sit like this here. Don't sit up in there like that. I got this one over here done. Turn it back side. Now it's time for some fleece now. Fleece cut the size. I'm going to be using some Loctite. When you land this fleece, you want to start in the middle and work your way to the edge. Try to get it tight as you can. And try to do half and half. I'm going to do this half first, then I'm going to flip it over and do the other half. Once you get it fleeced up, it's time to go ahead and staple. I'm gonna step around all my little countersunk, where I countersunk around the rings. I'm gonna step around all that, plus I'm gonna step around where the handle go, and up in here too. I'm gonna staple that so it won't pull back when I lay the resin down. Once I staple it, it'll start taking form. Both panels wrapped in fleece. You can see where I countersunk around the rings, where the staples at. Once I put my first coat of resin, I'm gonna go ahead and cut this out, my fleece out. I'm gonna cut this out. But that's what I'm gonna do now. I'm gonna go ahead and resin it. I'm gonna be using the Bondi resin. I got my chip brushes and a cup. Let me go ahead and mix up some, and I'm gonna cut you back on. First coat of resin. Once that first coat dry, I advise you to go ahead and cut everything out you need to cut out. Because if you put a second coat on it, it's going to make it tougher to cut out. I just use a box cutter with a sharp blade on it. Let me show you this in here. I had already cut this one out. Now you probably can see why I kind of sunk around the edges. So once I build it up with fiberglass, it'll meet up with the top. Finish cutting this one out, then I'll be ready for the next step. What I'm doing now, I'm just masking up the areas I don't want no fiberglass resin or fiberglass mat or filler or nothing like that on it. Because these areas here, it's pretty much ready to paint. Just hit it with some light sandpaper and prime, then you'll be ready to paint it. Like up in here, this here ain't gonna be seen. It's a little cover go over it, a little chrome cover. And I ain't got time to be really fooling with this here trying to sand it. So I'm gonna mask it up and I'm just gonna finish up in here. Then I'm gonna bevel it off with some filler and primer. So I'm just gonna tape this part here up like I did here. I'm ready for some fiberglass now. I'm using Evercoat fiberglass mat. I just tore some pieces about the size of the spots I'm gonna be putting fiberglass at. Just different spots. I got some little strips here because I got a little thin strip up here. I'm gonna put some fiberglass there. And I just got different sizes, but most of them this size here. But what you want to do, you just want to get you some resin, wipe your resin on, then put your fiberglass mat on top of it, and then just use your chip brush to soak the mat in. First layer of fiberglass mat been applied. What I'm finna do now, you remember I was telling you I had to make some mountain holes for it, and I was gonna use the original ones except the one that was in the middle. This is the back of the mountain hole, but I'm finna turn this over. And you remember I had drilled out some holes in the place of the mountain holes where it was located at. I'm finna take a 1-inch hole saw and open this on up some, because I'm gonna use this for the mountain hole. Some CPVC pipe and the cap. I had went on and drilled out the hole in the middle of the cap, but I'm finna drill this 1-inch hole so this will slide in between it. It's gonna be turned around like this here though. But let me drill the hole and you'll get a better idea. Let me get you caught up on the action. As you see, I went on and drilled out my holes. Then I came back and got a smaller bit and kind of centered it into the hole and brought it out to the other side. That's so I can know where to clear it out. I can clear it out for this pipe here, because this pipe here gonna go up under and it's gonna be sticking out. But I'm gonna trim it off once I fiberglass around it. But first, I also went and drilled this hole. This for the screw to go down into screw it into the door. But I'm gonna put the caps on the end of the pipe, and then I'm gonna cut the pipe to size and stick it through the holes. I cleared this one out and that one. I just got to do this one and this one. So let me do that. Then I'm gonna cut you back off.
Just wipe your eyes and stop this crying.
I got all 6 of them made. Also took some 36 grit sandpaper and scuffed them up because you want something that filler and fiberglass can grab to. You don't want no smooth surface. But it's gonna go in there like this here. It's gonna stick out the back a little because the original one is stuck out the back. So I'm finna mix up some long strand or short strand fiberglass filler, and I'm gonna fiberglass it in there like that from the back side. And once the back side dry, I'm gonna do the front side. The mounting brackets are in place on both panels. I'm gonna strengthen it up once I do fiberglass this side. But I'm gonna stuff some fiberglass mat and resin up in here on the side of the pipes. Only thing I did, I just tore some fiberglass hairs apart. Then I'm gonna get some resin, I'm gonna mix it all together. Then I put it up in here. The pipes are fiberglassed in on both panels. So what I'm finna do now, I'm finna take my cutoff wheel on my grinder and I'm gonna go ahead and cut it off somewhat the size. Then I'm gonna take my DA and I'm gonna start knocking all the fiberglass mat down, trying to get it smooth. Start shaping it on up, getting it smooth for primer. So let me turn it over and show you the other side of it. I had went on to cut the back out also. See, I took my cutoff wheel and cut the pipe down to size. The rest of it I just used the DA to smooth it on out. As you can see on this one here. I also knocked the fiberglass mat down some. Now I'm finna go ahead and do this one, knock this one down. Then I'll be ready for some filler. Both panels knocked down. Now I'm finna take some lightweight filler. This here by Evercoat. I'm finna take some and mix it up and spray some on my panels to cover up all the imperfections.
Just a letter to my mom. Ain't no more going broke. Ain't no more going broke. Ain't no more going broke.
I got the lightweight filler knocked down with the DA. I also used my hand around the curves and stuff, the spots where the DA wouldn't fit. I still got some pinholes and imperfections I gotta take care of, like up in there. Imperfections, pinholes, low spots. I'm gonna use this glazing putty for that. Evercoat polyester glazing putty. But first I'm gonna go ahead and take off my masking tape. I can go ahead and take it off now because I ain't gonna be using no more resin, because that resin, once it get on something, it's hard to get off. So I'm gonna go ahead and take my masking tape off. Then I'm gonna probably gotta touch up some of my transitions. I had went back and flushed out my rings. You can see why I kind of sunk the outside of it. The transition is real smooth from the wood to the fiberglass. I gotta make this transition smooth here. I'm just gonna take some glazing putty put some on my finger and just wipe around here and sand it off.
One girl fulfills my physical need, and the other girl I want to lose.
I'm almost ready for some primer now. I still see a few more spots I need to hit. I'm just gonna hit it with some glazing putty, some Bondi glazing putty. Just use that. Even though after I prime it, I'm still gonna see some imperfections, but I try to get it smooth as I can before I prime it.
And now they know, and I'm aware of each other.
Sand it and ready for that first coat of primer. Think I got it pretty smooth. This primer here should show all the rest of the imperfections. Let me go ahead and mix it up. I put 2 coats of high-build primer on it. On my first run of primer, my gun wasn't spraying right. One of the holes was stopped up. The fan pattern went right. I'm gonna go ahead and let this dry here. Then I'm gonna spray some guide coat on it. I'm just gonna use flat black paint and the spray can. I'm sanding it down now. You can see the guide coat, and you can see where I sanded it. Low spot, low spot, low spot. I'm gonna have to come back and put some glazing put on that because it's pretty much too low to sand on out. I done sanded this one here over here. I just got to go back and put glazing put on the spots that's low, like right here, there, there.
What kind of advice do you give?
I just got to finish sanding the glazing, put it down, touching up everything. I'm ready for my final prime now. There's 2 more coats of the high build primer. I still see a couple of pinholes, like right here. Alright, it's on to the next step. The next step is wet sanding. I think I'm going to put another layer of guide coat on it, so it'll show me exactly where I need to sand and what I done sanded. I'm about to start wet sanding now. What I got some 400 wet sandpaper. I got a sponge block, soft block. I also went on and cut out my back, the back side of it, so my magnet can clear. Let me show you how the back look. You can get a better idea of how I done it. Now, all that took place in order to get this. Show you what it's looking like on the wet sand. Okay, you can see where I knocked the guide coat off. All this good. It's smooth now, it's ready to paint. But right here, I still gotta knock this down. See, it help you know where you done sanded at too, so you won't miss nothing. But it's going pretty easy. I like this primer here. I believe I'm ready for some base coat now. Just got done with the wet sanding. Think I'm gonna wait till in the morning and do the spraying. It done got dark outside and the bugs done came on in, so I think I'm just gonna call it a night. Come out here first thing in the morning and spray it on up.
never stop. Right from the bottom to the top, from the ground up, we never stop. Right from